कल मतलब लास्ट अध्याय 16वें अध्याय में हमने पढ़ा था डिवाइन एंड डेमोनिक क्वालिटीज। तो वो अध्याय में बताया गया था, 23वें श्लोक में बताया गया था, शास्त्रं विधिम् उत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिम् अवाप्नोति न सुखम न पराम गतिम। बोले यह शास्त्र विधिम् उत्सृज्य, उत्सृज्य मतलब giving up. So he who disregard the scriptural injunction, acts according to his own whims, attains the neither perfection nor happiness nor supreme destination. So basically, those who disregard the Shastra, acts according to his own whims, attain neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. That's what we discussed. So basically, he who disregards scriptural injunction, they are demonic. They are called demonic person. And one should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulation of the scriptures. Knowing such a rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. And in the end of chapter 15, we have seen one thing. This is the most comprehensive part of Vedic scripture of sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. So understand this will become wise. This endeavor will know perfection. Basically, those follow Veda and follow the Vedic conclusion, what will happen? This endeavor knows all perfection. In the last chapter, so in the 16th chapter, it was mentioned, he who disregards scriptural injunction and acts according to his own whims attain neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So now, in this chapter, in the 17th chapter, Arjuna asked the question. Okay, so hope these two categories are very clear. Those who have faith in the scripture and follow the conclusion of the scripture, their efforts, उनका जो प्रयत्न है, उनको परम गति प्राप्त होती है, उनको पूर्ण सिद्धि प्राप्त हो जाती है, पूर्ण भक्ति का जो लक्ष्य है वो प्राप्त हो जाता है। लेकिन वो जो शास्त्र का नीति नियमों का उल्लंघन करते हैं, तो कभी क्या होता है, वो whimsically एक्ट करते हैं और उनको कभी पूर्ण सुख और डेस्टिनेशन गति प्राप्त नहीं होती, परम गति प्राप्त नहीं होती। तो अभी तो ये अध्याय में अर्जुन प्रश्न पूछ रहे हैं। अर्जुन इंक्वायर, अर्जुन उवाच ये शास्त्रं विधिम् उत्सृज्य यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्वितः तेषां निष्ठा तु का कृष्ण सत्वम आहो रजस्तमः। तो बोल रहे हैं अर्जुन इंक्वायर्ड, ओ कृष्णा, व्हाट इज द सिचुएशन ऑफ दोज हु डू नॉट फॉलो द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ स्क्रिप्चर्स बट वर्शिप अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर ओन इमेजिनेशन? आर दे इन द मोड ऑफ गुडनेस, इन द पैशन और इग्नोरेंस? So, in the previous two things, we saw two extreme end. Those who have faith in the scripture and worship, okay. And second is they do not have even faith in the scripture, okay. And they do not worship. They don't accept anyone's authority. But what do they say? Iswaroham aham bhoti. Svaraham Aham Bhogi. I am the God. He says he, they don't accept anyone's supremacy. He says Iswaraham Aham Bhogi Siddho Aham Balwan Sukhi. That is his thing. He himself consider himself as the supreme lord. He don't accept someone else supreme or sorry someone else authority. But here Arjuna is asking the question, "Oh Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principle of scripture but worship according to their own imagination?" Means they are not following Vedic scripture, but they are accepting someone's authority. They are accepting someone's authority. They are not considering themselves as a god or whatever, but they accept someone's authority. So in the previous two things we saw to extreme and follow Vedic scripture, consider Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, so means accept someone's authority as per the Vedic injection. And there are some other category, they don't accept Vedic authority. And they do not accept anyone's authority. Disregard the Veda and don't accept anyone's authority. But here Arjuna's question is, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principle of scripture but worship according to their own imagination? मतलब ऐसे लोग हैं जो वेदों के डोंट फॉलो वेदों के नियमों का पालन नहीं करते, लेकिन अपने मन से पूजा करते हैं किसी को अपने आप से सुपीरियर मानकर। क्या उनकी पूजा सत्व गुण में है, रजोगुण में, तमोगुण में? तो यहाँ पे बता रहे हैं in the 16th chapter it was concluded that one who does not follow the principle laid down in the scripture is called an asura, and one who follows the scriptural injunction faithfully is called deva, demigod. Now if one मतलब जो शास्त्रों के नीति नियमों का पालन करते हैं वो देवता है, और जो शास्त्रों के नीति नियमों का उल्लंघन करते हैं उसको दानव कहा गया है. Now if one with faith follow some rules which are not mentioned in the scripture and injection, what is the position? What is their position? किसी पे कोई श्रद्धा है, शास्त्रों की श्रद्धा नहीं है, कोई और श्रद्धा है, और कुछ नीति नियमों को मानते हैं, किसी को पूजा करते हैं, तो उनकी उनकी क्या स्थिति है? This doubt of Arjuna is to be cleared by Krishna. Are those who create some sort of God by selecting a human being and placing their faith in him, worshipping goodness, passion or ignorance? मतलब अपने हिसाब से किसी को भगवान बना देते हैं, शास्त्रों के हिसाब से भगवान को नहीं मानते, अपने हिसाब से भगवान को स्वीकार बनाते हैं, जैसे बहुत सारे लड़की माता को भगवान बना देते हैं. तो मैं एक जगह पे गया था, मुझे याद है, वहां पे लिखा था राम कहो, कृष्ण कहो, या एक और राम कहो, जो भी है, राम का कोई प्रीफिक्स लगा था. So do such a person attain the perfectional stage? उसकी क्या गति होती है? Is it possible for them to be situated in the real knowledge and elevate themselves to the highest perfectional stage? क्या उनका सही ज्ञान में उसको कभी स्थिति आएगी, क्या उनको परफेक्शन मिलेगा? To those who do not follow the rules and regulations of the scripture, but who have faith in something, worship gods and demigods, and men attain success in their effort, Arjuna is putting this question to Krishna. Okay. So now, and Krishna is answering one by one question. Okay. So Krishna is giving the answer to Arjuna's question. So is it clear to everyone? First of all, please tell me. Is it clear? What is the relationship between chapter 16, previous chapter, and this chapter? Yes, then please type in chat yes. कुछ लोग और भी टाइप करिए. ओके, तो आगे बढ़ते हैं हम अभी। ठीक है, तो अभी भगवान पहले बता रहे हैं। ओके, तो क्लियर हो गया होगा। सो जो वेदों को फॉलो नहीं करते वो क्या होगा, अपने इंस्टिंक्ट को नेचुरली फॉलो करेंगे। अभी अर्जुन भगवान आंसर दे रहे हैं। चलिए अभी भगवान के मुंह से सुनते हैं। श्री भगवान उवाच त्रिविधा भ्रवति श्रद्धा देहिनम सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चेति ताम शृणु। तो बोल रहे हैं supreme personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: goodness, patience, or ignorance. Now hear about this. हमारी श्रद्धा भी तीन प्रकार की होती है। कौन कौन सी? सत्वगुण में श्रद्धा, रजोगुण में श्रद्धा और तमोगुण में श्रद्धा होती है। तो अगले श्लोक में बता रहे हैं भगवान कि सत्वानुरूप सर्वस्य श्रद्धा भवति भारत श्रद्धामयो अयम पुरुषो यो यच्छ्रद्धा स एव स। तो बोल रहे हैं वो सर्व भारत, अकॉर्डिंग टू वन एग्जिस्टेंस अंडर द वेरियस मोड ऑफ नेचर, वन इवॉल्व्स पर्टिकुलर काइंड ऑफ फेथ। द लिविंग बीइंग इज सेड टू बी ऑफ पर्टिकुलर फेथ अकॉर्डिंग टू द मोड्स ही हैज एक्वायर्ड। तो कभी कभी क्या होता है शास्त्रों में कि हम जन्म से ही क्या होता है एक स्वभाव हमें प्राप्त होता है। तो वो स्वभाव कैसे प्राप्त होता है? पिछले जन्म के कर्म होते हैं हमारे, और जब उसका क्या बोलते हैं, माता को गर्भ धारण किया था तो माता और पिता की क्या चेतना थी गर्भदान और गर्भधारण करते समय क्या चेतना थी, उसके ऊपर भी आधारित है। और वो गर्भ से बाहर आए तब तक माता और पिता कैसे एटमोस्फियर में थे, ये सब चीजों ऊपर भी वो बहुत डिपेंड करता है। इसीलिए मैंने थर्ड चैप्टर में भी बताया था, तीसरे अध्याय के डिस्कशन में, कि मनुष्य समाज में, मनुष्य जीवन के मनुष्य के समाज में जो वैदिक शास्त्रों का पालन करते उसमें गर्भदान संस्कार वगैरह किया जाता है। कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में गर्भदान संस्कार किया जाता है। कैसे? मतलब before the woman conceive a child, before man pregnant, so they go and beg, worship Lord, pray to the Lord to give us desired child, divine child. Once the woman is impregnated, they hear Bhagavatam during the pregnancy period till the type child come out. That whole atmosphere is very sattvic, Visuddha Sattva, very divine. Here Srimad Bhagavatam, here Krishna Katha, they take only Krishna Prasad, they try to stay in a dham. So all these things affects consciousness of the child which is growing inside the womb. As soon as child come out, they will be affected by surroundings again. That's why it is very, very important. तो हम ये सब चीजें हमारे फेथ के ऊपर असर करते हैं। तो यहाँ पे फेथ की बहुत फेथ के बारे में बताया गया है। So everyone has a particular type of faith regardless of what he is. But his faith is considered goodness, passion, and ignorance according to the nature he has acquired. He has acquired means past karma, गर्भदान संस्कार, गर्भक में थे तब माता पिता का क्या कॉन्शियस, क्या चेतना रही माता की, ये सब चीजों पर स्वभाव निर्भर करता है। Thus, according to this particular type of faith, one associated with certain person. जैसे किसी को डेयर डेविल एक्ट करना है तो उसको भी ऐसे लोग पसंद आए, और वो स्वभाव के हिसाब से लोगों के साथ एक्ट करते हैं। जैसे म्यूजिशियन होगा तो उसको म्यूजिशियन की कंपनी रखेगा, क्रिकेटर होगा तो क्रिकेटरों की कंपनी रखेगा, वो पॉलिटिशियन होगा तो पॉलिटिशियनों की कंपनी रखेगी। जैसे स्वभाव है ऐसी वो कंपनी करेगा, और उसका स्वभाव और गहरा बनता जाएगा, मतलब हैबिट में कन्वर्ट होता जाएगा वो। So now the real fact is that every living being, as is stated in the 15th chapter, is originally fragmental part and parcel to Supreme God. Therefore, one is originally transcendental to all modes of material nature, but when one forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one comes in contact with the material nature and the conditioned life, he generates his own position by association of the different material nature, varieties of different material nature. The resultant artificial faith and existence are only material. Although one may be conducted by some impression or some conception of life, originally is nirguna or transcendental. Therefore, one has to become cleansed of material contamination that he has acquired in order to regain his relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is the only path back without fear, Krishna consciousness. If one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then that path is guaranteed for his elevation to the perfection stage. If one does not take to this path of self-realization, then is surely to be conducted by the influence of the modes of nature. The word Shraddha or faith is very significant in this verse. Shraddha or faith originally comes out of the modes of goodness. One's faith may be in a demigod or some created god or some material mental concoction. अलग अलग प्रकार के faith हो सकते हैं, या तो देवता में हो सकते हैं, या तो man made god में हो सकते हैं, तो whimsical हो सकता है. One strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. One strong faith is supposed to be productive of work of material goodness. But in material condition life, no works are completely purified. They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. Purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of 15% of Godhead. As long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, faith is subjected to contamination by any mode of material nature. Contaminated mode of material nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to position of heart in contact with particular mode of material nature, one's faith is established. So this is called vicious cycle. You have particular, kind of faith, particular tendencies, particular of swabhava in this life, and throughout and based on that swabhava, you continue your life. You associate with those kind of people. So again, your mind will start developing those kind of thoughts, activity, and all those things. Throughout the life, you do those kind of activity. When someone is about to die, they think whatever they have done throughout the life. And again, in the next life, because of this karma of this particular life, they get some particular type of body, karma and desire. Yeah. This is a very vicious cycle. So it should be understood that if one's heart in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in the mode of goodness. If his heart is in the mode of passion, his faith is also in the mode of passion. And if his heart is in the mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also contaminated. Thus, we find different type of faith in this world, and there are different type of religions due to different type of faith. ऐसे हमारे मानसिकता की वजह से अलग अलग प्रकार के faith, religion आते हैं. The real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. Because the heart is tainted, we find different type of religious principle. Thus, according to the different type of faith, there are different kind of worship. यहाँ पे बता रहे हैं. Now that worship in a different बोलते हैं आगे चौथे श्लोक में भगवान बता रहे हैं यजन्ते सात्विका देवान यक्ष रक्षामि राजस प्रेतान भूतगणांश्च अन्ये यजन्ते तामसा जना बोलते हैं men in the mode of goodness worship the demigod, those in the mode of passion worship the demon, those in the mode of ignorance worship ghost and spirit. तो यहाँ पे भगवान बताते हैं 3 अलग अलग प्रकार की वर्शिप होती है एज पर द मोड्स पर्टिकुलर मोड्स वन हैव एक्वायर्ड. If one does not follow Veda, one will follow the natural instinct, which will be goodness, passion, and ignorance. वो हमने चर्चा कर ली. So one's particular faith is evolved according to one's existence under the various modes and worship in a different modes. Basically, Krishna is described here. Those who have given up scripture out of laziness because the required worship was troublesome, yet faithfully worship the demigods. Yes, they have given up the injection of the scripture, but they worship according to their own mental comfort. In 5 and 6, Krishna will describe about worshiping in different modes. You can see this. Bhasmasur was worshipping as per his own mental concoction. He was worshipping Shiva, but he was not following any, partially following Veda, whatever you can say. So demonic austerity, you can see this kind of people, they are passing the needles from one side to another, that kind of activity they do. They can, pierce the body with different kind of needle kind of things, and they do all these activities. So that's what is described in the next verse. तो अगले श्लोक में भगवान बता रहे हैं और शास्त्रम विहितम घोरम तप्यन्ते च ये तपोजना दम्भ अहंकार संयुक्तः कामराग बलान्विता कर्षयन्ति शरीरस्थं नामं चेतसा मां चैव अन्तः शरीरस्थ तान् विधि असुर निश्चयान. तो बोल रहे हैं those who undergo severe austerity and penance not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by the lust and attachment, who are foolish and who are torture the material elements of the body as well as super soul dwelling within, are known as demons. So they are also called demon. So those who undergo severe austerity and penance not recommended in the scripture, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by the lust and attachment, who are foolish and who are torture of the material elements of the body, as well as super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. So basically, that's what we discuss here. That Bhasmasur worship Lord Shiva, and he was offering the flesh of his body. And when Lord Shiva was not pleased, then what happened? When he didn't appear in front of him, he tried to cut his throat and offer it in the 5 sacrifice. Lord Shiva immediately appeared, being compassionate. And he asked the boon, what that whomever had he put his hand, so that particular person's head will be burst. You know the story. I'm not going to repeat it again. You see this kind of person, they are giving so much trouble to body. Higher elements of material body, they are giving the trouble. So this kind of worship is called demonic. So how can we find out uh, faith of the person? What kind of faith he has? So we can find out the different kind of faith based on seeking habit, how we perform austerity, how we perform yajna, what kind of charity he perform. That's why in some subsequent verses, upcoming verses, Krishna described the eating habits as per the modes of material nature, sacrifice, performance of sacrifice in three different modes of material nature, tapasya in modes of material nature, charity in the mode of material nature. To understand this kind of people. So just to describe that, Krishna is speaking of subsequent verses about this all different kind of activities of this kind of people. तो यहाँ पे बता रहे हैं तो वही चीज बताई है. तुम्हें थोड़े परपोर्ट पढ़ लेता हूँ, बहुत ही अच्छा बताया. These are a person who manufacture modes of austerity, penance, which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunction. For instance, fasting for some ulterior purpose, such as promote a purely political, and is not mentioned in the scriptural direction. कुछ लोग उपवास तो करते हैं, लेकिन भगवान शास्त्रों में नहीं बताया, शास्त्रों में बताया उसके लिए नहीं, पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा के लिए करते हैं. That is not mentioned in the Shastra. Scripture recommended fasting for spiritual advancement, not for some political and or social purpose. Person who take to such austerity are, according to Bhagavad Gita, certainly demonic. तो हमें लगता है बहुत बड़े बड़े नेता हैं, they do all these things only for political agenda. They are also considered demonic, although they might be in a suit, boot, tie, coat, and pant. They seem that they are really well wishers of the human society, but they are doing things which are not mentioned in the Veda. They are also called demoniac. Their acts are against the scriptural injunction and are not beneficial for the people in general. Very clear. Actually, they act out of pride, false ego, lust, and attachment for material enjoyment. It's like Bhasmasura. By such activities, not only is the combination of material element of which the body is constructed disturbed, but also the supreme percent of Godhead within Godhead himself living within the body. He also get disturbed. Such unauthorized fasting or austerity for some political end are certainly very disturbing to others. They are not mentioned in the Vedic scripture. The demonic person may think that he can force his enemy or other party to comply with his desire by this method. Sometimes one dies by such a fasting, and these acts are not approved by the Supreme Person of Godhead. He says that those who engage in them are demons. Such a demonstration are insult to the Supreme Person of Godhead because they are enacted in disobedience to Vedic injunction, scriptural injunction. The word achetasa is significant in this connection. Person of normal mental condition must obey the scriptural injunction. So, if they are not following the scriptural injunction, means they are abnormal person. Abnormal, not extraordinary, not ordinary, but abnormal. So when person can be considered normal when they follow the Vedic scripture. Otherwise, they are called crazy, or maybe lazy. Those who are not in such a position neglect and disobey the scriptures, manufacture their own way of austerity and penance. One should always remember the ultimate end of demonic people as described in the previous chapter. What is that? Self gratification, Iswaraham, Aham Bhogi. Lord forced them to take birth in the womb of demonic person. And consequently, they will live by demonic principle life after life without knowing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what he said. He cast down them into the hell. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demonic life was Sanapati. Such a person can never approach me. Gradually, they swing down to the most abominable type of existence. That's what Krishna says. If, however, such a person are fortunate enough, लोगों को उद्धार कैसे होगा? If, however, such a person are fortunate enough to be guided by spiritual master who can direct them to the path of Vedic wisdom, they can get out of this entanglement and ultimately achieve the supreme goal. How can they become fortunate? They can become fortunate when some devotees like you, all of you, you go and give them books of Srila Prabhupada, they become fortunate. Go and give them, tell them to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, even though they don't accept. But if they hear Hare Krishna, they will develop, even just by hearing Hare Krishna, they will develop Agyat Sukruti. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended Harinam Sankirtan. By Harinam Sankirtan, what will happen? That is the best way of preaching Kali Yuga. By Harinam Sankirtan, there are two kinds of people be benefited: those who are chanting, those who are hearing. Those who are moving and those who are non-moving, they also get benefited. So those who are faithful, those who are faithless, they will also be benefited. And someone hear holy name knowingly, unknowingly, willingly, unwillingly, they'll get Agyat Sukruti. Because chanting, if they speak Rajma, Krishna may consider Rama. मेरा मकान बोलेगा तो राम समझेगा, राम बोलेगा तो राम समझेगा. That much, concession God has given for this kind of people. एक भक्त गए, एक व्यक्ति को बोला, अरे आप हरे कृष्णा बोलो, हरे कृष्णा बोलो. तो बोला मैं हरे कृष्णा नहीं बोलूंगा. And the devotee who was requesting started dancing. बोला फाइनली आपने हरे कृष्णा बोल ही दिया. If someone gives them book, they get Agyat Sukruti, they become, by the touch of devotee, you will get Agyat Sukruti. Some way, something they do, knowingly and knowingly, willingly and willingly, something for devotees and God, then they get Agyat Sukruti, and that way they become God, devotee. That's what, if however such a person are fortunate enough to be guided by spiritual master, who can direct them to the path of Vedic wisdom, they can get out of this entanglement and ultimately achieve the supreme goal. तो अगले श्लोक में बता रहे हैं, आहारस्त्वम् आहारस्त्वपि सर्वस्य त्रिविधो भवति प्रिय यज्ञस्तपस्तथा दानं तेषां भेदम् इमं शृणु. Even the food each person prefer is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. Same is true of sacrifice, austerity, charity. Now here of the distinction between them, how can we find out person who their faith in the mode of administration and ignorance by their activities? That's why Krishna is telling this thing. दस श्लोक में क्या बताया था? 3 लोग। तो उन्होंने भगवान ने क्या किया, अलग अलग प्रकार के faith in different mode. Krishna explained in demonic austerity. Now he talks about different kind of food. So one can make out person's mode of faith by seeing his activity of eating, sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Krishna will describe 3 types of each of these 4 items. He says in the, we already discussed this thing. He says, आयु सत्व बल आरोग्य सुख प्रीति विवर्धना रस्य स्निग्ध स्थिर रिद्धा आहार सात्विका प्रिया। तो बोल रहे हैं foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such a foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. These are the foods accepted by the person in the mode of goodness. The next verse he says, Tatva amla लवनाति उष्ण तीक्ष्ण रुक्ष विदाहिना आहार राजस्येष्टा दुख सोखामया प्रधा। तो बोलते हैं food that is too bitter, too sour, salty, or pungent, dry, burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such a food cause distress, misery, and disease. Now please all of you think what kind of mode all of you are based on this 16th and 17th chapter. How much demonic tendencies we have, how much divine tendencies we have. So you can find out from these things. In the next verse he says, Yatayam gatarasam puti paryusita chayat uchishtam api chamedam bhojanam tamasa priyam. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten. Food that is tasteless, decomposed, putrid, food consisting of remnants, untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. These are the food of person who is in the mode of darkness. So remnants of the food may be eaten only when they are first offered to the Supreme Lord or eaten by saintly persons, especially the spiritual master. The Vaishnavas or devotees do not eat any food not offered to the Supreme Lord, even if it is food in the goodness. That's what Krishna described. This is the classification. Food in a different mode. सात्विक फूड होता है गुडनेस में, मोड ऑफ पैशन, देखने के बाद खाने का मन नहीं करेगा. This is food in the mode of ignorance. In the next verse, Krishna talks about sacrificing. Next 3 verses, Krishna talks about different kind of sacrifices for the mode acquired by the particular person. It says, Phala akanksibir yagno Vidhi disto ya ijyate स्वस्त्वायम एवेति मनः समाधाय सात्विकः, तो बोल रहे हैं of sacrifice, the sacrifice performed according to the direction of the scripture as matter of duty by those who desire no reward is in the nature of goodness. समझ में आ गया? Of sacrifice, the sacrifice performs according to the direction of the scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness. So its general tendency is to offer sacrifice with some purpose in the mind. But here it is stated, sacrifice should be performed without any such a desire. Should be done as a matter of duty. Take for example the performance of ritual in the temple in church. Generally they are performed with the purpose of material benefit. That is not in the mode of goodness. One should go to temple church as a matter of duty, offer respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offer power meditables without any purpose of obtaining material benefit. Everyone thinks that there is no use in going to temple just to worship God, but worship for economic benefit is not recommended in the scripture and injunction. Means that is not pure bhakti. You can worship, that is different thing. One should go simply to offer respect to deity. That is place one in the mode of goodness. So it is the duty of every civilized man to obey the injunction of the scripture and offer respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a duty. The next verse. Abhisandaya tu phalam damba artham apiche vayat ijyate bharat sreshta tam yagnam vidhi rajasam. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefits or for the sake of pride or chief of Bharata, you should know to be in the mode of passion. Sometimes sacrifice and ritual are performed for elevation to heavenly planets, heavenly kingdom, or for some material benefit in this world. Such a sacrifice or ritual performance are considered to be in the mode of passion. In the next verse, he says, Vidihinam asrushtanam mantrahinam adakshinam virahitam yagnam tamasam parichakshate. Any sacrifice performed without regard of the direction of the scripture, without distribution of prasadam, without chanting Vedic hymns, and without giving dan dakshina to priest, and without faith is considered in the mode of ignorance. Hinam asrashtanam mantrahinam adakshinam shraddha virahitam yagnam tamasa parichakshate. So faith in the mode of darkness or ignorance is actually faithlessness. Faith in the mode of darkness is considered faithlessness. Sometimes people worship some demigod just to make money and then spend the money for recreation, ignoring scripture and injunction. Such a ceremonial show of religiosity are not accepted genuinely. They are all in the mode of darkness. They produce demonic mentality and do not benefit from society. Sacrifice in the mode of goodness is given a Krishna consciousness person act out of pure love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the result of the action. This is sacrifice in the mode of passion. So first we saw food in the different modes, sacrifice in the different. Second we saw sacrifice in the different modes, And now we are going to see austerity in different modes. यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं देवद्विज गुरु प्रज्ञा पूजनम शौचम आर्जवम ब्रह्मचर्यम अहिंसा च शरीरम तप उच्यते. First it describe what kind of different tapasyas are there, what kind of describe different level of tapasya. It describe three type of austerity. It says Devadvija Guru Pragna Pujanam. Austerity of the body consisting worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master. तपस्या शरीर की तपस्या क्या है? भगवान की पूजा करना, ब्राह्मणों की पूजा करना, गुरु की पूजा करना और बड़ों की पूजा करना, जैसे माता पिता है, उसको शरीर की तपस्या माना गया है. मदर एंड इन क्लीनलीनेस, सिंप्लिसिटी, सेलिब्रेशन, नॉन वायलेंस. स्वच्छता रखना, सिंप्लिसिटी, सिंपल रहना, सिंप्लिसिटी विदाउट डुप्लिसिटी, सेलिबेसी, ब्रह्मचर्य का पालन करना, नॉन वायलेंस. यानी स्त्री है तो उनको चेस्टिटी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है. The Supreme Personality of Godhead explained different kind of austerity and penance. First, he explained austerity and penance practiced by the body. One should offer or learn to offer respect to God or demigods, the perfect qualified Brahmana, the spiritual masters, people like father, mother, or any person who is conversant with Vedic knowledge. This should be given proper respect. One should practice cleansing oneself externally and internally. He should learn to become simple in behavior. He should not do anything which is not sanctioned by the scriptural injunction. He should not indulge in sex outside married life, for sex is sanctioned in the scripture only in marriage, not otherwise. That is called celibacy. These are penance, austerity as far as body is concerned. यहाँ पे शरीर की तपस्या के बारे में बात किया. अगले श्लोक में मन की तपस्या, अलग लेवल की तपस्या आएगी. अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियं हितं च यत् स्वाध्याय अभ्यासनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to others. Priyam hitam, satyam priyam hitam chaya. Also in regularly reciting Vedic literatures. पहले शरीर की तपस्या बताई, अभी वाणी की तपस्या बताई गई. और अगले श्लोक में बता रहे हैं मन की तपस्या क्या है. मनः प्रसाद सौम्यत्वं मौनम आत्मविनिग्रह भाव संसुद्धिर इति एतत् तपोमानसमुच्यते. तो मन की तपस्या क्या है? सैटिस्फैक्शन, सिंप्लिसिटी, ग्रेविटी, सेल्फ कंट्रोल and purification of one's existence are the austerity of mind. So basically, to make the mind austere is to detach from sense gratification. Should be so trained that it can be always thinking of doing good for others. Mind is very, what is that mind? Chanchalahi mana krishna pramati balvakitam tasyam nigram manye vayoreva sudhuskaram. We have to train the mind. The base training of the mind is in the gravity of thoughts. One should not deviate from Krishna consciousness and must always avoid sense gratification. To purify one's nature is to become Krishna consciousness. So satisfaction of mind can be obtained only by taking the mind away from thought of sense enjoyment. We should not let our mind dwell in sense enjoyment. The more we think of sense enjoyment, the more mind becomes dissatisfied. Present age, present age, we are unnecessarily engaged the mind in so many different ways of sense gratification. So there is no possibility of minds becoming satisfied. Best course is to divert the mind to the Vedic literature, which is full of satisfying stories, as in the Puranas and Mahabharata. One can take advantage of this knowledge and thus become purified. Mind should be avoid of duplicity, and one should think of the welfare of all. Basically, simplicity means without no duplicity. Simplicity without duplicity. Silence means that one is always thinking of self-realization. The person in Krishna consciousness observes perfect silence in this sense. Silence means one is always thinking of self-realization. The person in Krishna consciousness observes perfect silence in this sense. Control of the mind means detaching the mind from the sense enjoyment. One should be straightforward in his dealing and thereby purify his existence. All these qualifications together constitute austerity in mental activities. So, first of all, Krishna explained three level of austerity, types of austerity. Austerity at bodily level, austerity at austerity of tongue, speech, and then third he explained austerity of mind. So this kind of austerity can be performed in different modes. Again, these are the three levels of austerity, and they can be performed. And there are austerity in three modes. So these were the level: austerity at bodily level, austerity at speech level, austerity at mind level. Now the austerity can be at three different modes. So it says, Sraddhaya paraya taptam tapas त्रिविधम नरे फल आकांक्षी भीर युक्त सात्विकम परिचक्षते. तो बोल रहे हैं दिस थ्रीफोल्ड ऑस्टेरिटी, perform with transcendental faith by man not expecting material benefits but engage only for the sake of the supreme is called austerity in goodness. ये सारी जो तपस्या बताई अलग अलग लेवल पे हम क्यों करते हैं? जस्ट भगवान की खुशी के लिए हम करते हैं, कोई लाभ के लिए नहीं कर रहे. वो ऑस्टेरिटी को हम सत्व गुण में मानेंगे. और फिर अगले श्लोक में बता रहे हैं, सत्कार मान पूजा अर्थम तपोदम्बे चैवयत् क्रियते तद इह प्रोक्तम राजसः चलम अध्रुवम. तो बोलते हैं पेनेंस परफॉर्म्ड आउट ऑफ प्राइड. जैसे कुछ लोग बोलते हैं दिखाने के लिए तपस्या करते हैं. For the sake of gaining respect, honor and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. इस तपस्या हम दिखावे के लिए भी कर सकते हैं, ऐसा होता है. अगले श्लोक में बता रहे हैं, मुदा ग्राहे न मनो यत् विदया क्रियते तपः परस्यो स अर्थम वा तत्तामसम उदाहरतम। तो बोल रहे पेनेंस परफॉर्म आउट ऑफ फुलिशनेस, सेल्फ टॉर्चर or destroy or injured others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. अलग अलग प्रकार की तपस्या बताई है। There are instances of the police penance undertaken by the demon like Hiranyakashipu perform austere penance to become immortal and kill the demigods. He prayed to Brahma for such a things, but ultimately he was killed by the supreme personality of Godhead. To undergo penance for something which is impossible is certainly in the mode of ignorance. So austerity in different mode is mentioned here. Yes, so we already saw that. So all material is shared on the drive. Please see them. So austerity in the mode of passion was done by Hiranyakashipu. Austerity in the mode of ignorance was done by Bhasmasur, Rudrasur, whatever you say. So now charity in the different modes. All three modes and their combination are defective and bind one to the material world. Now Krishna will explain that all defects can be removed by chanting Om Tat Sat. That will become transcendental. This person who has तो अभी भगवान ने यहाँ पर क्या बताया, पहले बता दिया फेथ, फिर खाना, फिर सैक्रिफाइस और अभी तपस्या। तो तपस्या में पहले लेवल ऑफ तपस्या बताई एंड तपस्या इन डिफरेंट मोड्स इज गिवन। नाउ ही टॉक्स अबाउट चैरिटी। दातव्यम इति यद दानम दीयते अनु प्रकारिणे देश काले च पात्रे च तद दानम सात्विकम स्मृतम। Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at proper time and place and to worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. हम दान पुण्य भी करते हैं, कहाँ पर करते हैं उसके अंदर का बहुत जरूरी है। तो पहले सारे श्लोक पढ़ लेते हैं, उसके बाद देखते हैं। So in the Vedic literature, charity given to a person engaged in spiritual activities is recommended. There is no recommendation for giving charity indiscriminately. Spiritual perfection is always consideration. Therefore, charity is recommended to be given at the place of pilgrimage, at the lunar or solar eclipse, or at the end of month, or to a qualified Brahmana or Vaishnava, or in the temple. Such a charity should be given without any consideration of the return. Charity to the poor is sometimes given out of compassion, but the poor man is not worth giving charity to. There is no spiritual advancement. In other words, indiscriminate charity is not recommended in the Vedic literature. एक चीज बताया गया, अगर साधारण व्यक्ति को हम दान देते हैं, 1 रुपया देते हैं, 10 रुपया देते हैं, तो उनको अगले कोई जन्म में वही 10 रुपया वापस मिल जाएगा। अगर वही चैरिटी कोई लिटिल बिट स्पिरिचुअली इंक्लाइंड पर्सन को देते हैं, तो 10 गुना होके आता है अगले जन्मों में। 10 का 10 गुना मतलब 100 रुपया बन के आएगा। फिर वही दान अगर हम कोई ब्राह्मण को देते हैं, क्वालिफाइड ब्राह्मण, तो 100 गुना बन के आता है, 1000 रुपये बन के आएगा। और वही दान अगर कोई वैष्णव को दिया जाता है और भगवान के लिए दिया जाता है, तो मल्टीप्लाइड बाय सॉरी अनलिमिटेड होके आएगा रिटर्न। तो आप देख सकते हैं किसका, ये सुदामा ब्राह्मण का, उन्होंने भगवान को थोड़े वो चिप्ड राइस दिए थोड़े से, क्योंकि फटे हुए कपड़े में गए थे, लेकिन उनका भाव सही था भगवान के लिए कुछ गिफ्ट लेके जाना चाहिए। उनको ये चाहना नहीं थी कि रिटर्न में कुछ मिलेगा। भगवान के लिए उनके पास जो था हाईएस्ट लेवल पे लेके गए, जितना भी हो सकता था वो लेके गए। भगवान ने देखा, उन्होंने संपूर्ण दे दिया मुझे जो भी है उनके पास। भगवान ने भी क्या किया, उन्होंने भी अपने पास जितना भी सर्वस्व देने की कोशिश की, अनलिमिटेड, अनलिमिटेड वे रिटर्न किया उन्होंने, अनलिमिटेड वे बस रिटर्न, अनलिमिटेड टाइम्स। That is the power of charity, giving different proper person at proper place, proper time. That's very very important. Okay. So he says in the next verse, Yat Yattu Prati Upkara Artham Phalam Uddisya Va Punah Diyate Cha Parishitam Taddanam Rajasamskritam। तो बोलते हैं, but charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for duty result or in grudging mood said to be charity in the mode of passion। कोई charity sometimes performed for elevation to the heavenly kingdom, sometimes with great trouble, with repentation afterwards. Why have I spent so much in this way? Charity is also called, also sometimes given under some obligation, the request of superior. This kind of charity are called, said to be given in the mode of passion। तो हमें बोलता है तब देते हैं, that is that charity is in the mode of passion, that is not given voluntarily। कोई दबाव में आके देते हैं तो that charity is called the mode of passion। There are many charitable foundations which offer their gifts to institutions where sense gratification goes on। Such a charity are not recommended in the Vedic scripture, only charity in the mode of goodness is recommended। अगले श्लोक में बता रहे हैं, आदेश काले यद दानम अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असत्कृतम् अवज्ञातम तामस उदाहरतम। बोल रहा चैरिटी परफॉर्म एट impure place at improper time to unworthy person or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance। Contribution for indulgence, intoxication, gambling are not encouraged here। That sort of contribution is in the mode of ignorance। Such charity is not beneficial, rather sinful person are encouraged। Similarly, person gives charity to a suitable person but without respect and without attention, that sort of charity is also तो ये सब दान कैसे करना चाहिए, ये सारे यज्ञ कैसे करना चाहिए, तपस्या कैसे करनी चाहिए, कौन सी तपस्या करेंगे तो हम मुक्त हो जाएंगे, उसके बारे में अगले श्लोक में बताया है। This is charity and goodness given out of duty without expectation of return at proper time and place. The worthy person charity and patient expectation of some return, desire for positive result. भगवान को अगरबत्ती चढ़ाते हैं हम ताकि हमारे अच्छे मार्क आ जाए. Grudging in mood, in grudging mood, charity in ignorance, at impure place, at improper time, it to an unworthy person. So all these three modes and their combination are defective. Bind one to the material world. Now Krishna will explain that all defect can be removed by chanting Om Tat Sat, name of Lord Vishnu. And that the activity itself will become transcendental. The person who has no scriptural faith can be gradually elevated. बोलते हैं ये सारी एक्टिविटी, इसको शास्त्र में कोई फेथ नहीं है, अगर ये सारी एक्टिविटी करेंगे, worship with different faith, have no faith in different modes, worship in different mode, food in different mode, austerity in different mode, penance in different modes, charity in different modes. They are not doing scriptural injection. How can they deliver? That is explained in the next verse. Getting free from the defect of one's sacrifice, austerity, and charity. How can they be free from defects? ज्यादा समय नहीं लेंगे, समाप्त कर देंगे हम. तो बोल रहे ओम तत्सत इति निर्देशो ब्रह्मण त्रिविध स्मृतः ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदस्य यज्ञस्य विहितः पुरा. From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmana while chanting the hymn of the Veda and during the sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Supreme. So, पहले ओम तत्सत यूज किया जाता था किसके लिए? To represent supreme personality of Godhead. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmana while chanting the hymns in Vedas and during sacrifice for the satisfaction of Supreme. How to perform that? Tasmat Om Idi Udaharitya Yagyadan Tapakriya Pravrutte Vidon Ukta Satatam Brahmavadinam. Therefore, transcendental is undertaking performance of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with the scriptural regulation. Begin always with Om to attain the Supreme. यहाँ पे वापस उन्होंने बोल दिया अलग अलग प्रकार के लोग हैं, लेकिन ये चीज हमेशा भगवान को ध्यान में रख के किया जाना चाहिए. ओम तत्सत मतलब विष्णु भगवान के बारे में बोला गया है. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे भी who can attain, person perform the yajna dan tapakriya reciting Om, attain Supreme. Therefore, transcendental is undertaking performance of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with the scriptural regulation. Begin always with Om to attain the Supreme. This is first level of highest level of liberation. Supreme, attaining the Supreme. दूसरे लेवल में जो मोक्ष प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं उसके लेवल पर है. पहला था किसके लिए था? सततम ब्रह्मवादिनम, those who want to attain the Supreme. और यहाँ पर जो बात की गई है इसके लिए मोक्ष मोक्ष भी बोलते हैं। तदा इति अनाभिसंध्या फलम यज्ञ तपः क्रिया दान क्रिया से विविधः क्रियन्ते मोक्ष कांक्षिभिः। तो बोल रहे हैं विदाउट डिजायरिंग फ्रूटिव रिजल्ट one should perform various kind of sacrifice, penance and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get liberation free from the material engagement. Sorry, moksha bhi kangsha bhi. To elevate spiritual position, one should not act for any material gain. It should be performed for ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back to Godhead. This is to get the liberation. We use tat, this Om Tat Sat. So to get the supreme destination, they start with Om. To get liberation, they start with Tat. Now they will talk about Sat. Sat. The Sadbhave Sadbhave Cha Sad iti etat prayujyate prasaste karmani tatha सचिचा विहतार्थ उच्यते यज्ञे तपसे दाने च स्थिति सद उच्यते इति चो उच्यते कर्म चैव तद अर्थीयम सद इति एवापि धीयते। तो बोलते हैं the absolute truth is object of devotional sacrifice सद्भावे साधु भावे। It is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of sacrifice is called Sat, as are all work of sacrifice, penance, and charity which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person. यहाँ पे भगवान की खुशी के लिए जो करते हैं वो सत, उसको सत के बारे में बोला गया है। तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं Om is always chanted in the beginning by those who perform sacrifice, charity in accordance with the scriptural regulation to attain the supreme. That is uttered by the person aspiring for the liberation from the material entanglement and perform sacrifice, austerity, and charity without desiring fruitive result. And Sat is used to indicate the absolute truth. Sadbhave, also knower of seeker of absolute truth. Sadhu Bhave. So all auspicious work of sacrifice, austerity, and charity are performed to please the Supreme Person. Any work dedicated to the Lord is permanent and is called Sat. So Sat is, the work is performed. Sadbhave, Sadhu Bhave, for the pleasing of the Supreme Lord. So basic characteristic of religion is the mode of goodness, motivation for the purification, sense of duty, desire to please the Lord. One can instill this mentality in one's sacrifice, austerity, and charity by including in them the mantra Om Tat Sat, reminding oneself that the goal of the religious activity is to satisfy Vishnu. Again, so he says in this chapter we discuss about different faiths. Now the last verse is there. We discuss about faith in 3 modes, food in 3 different modes, austerity in 3 different modes, different level of austerity, sacrifice in the different mode, charity in different modes. But if that charity, austerity, sacrifice, then eating habits, if you honor only remnants of the food, then that will become the act to satisfy Lord Vishnu. Then the result we get is Sat, permanent. Sat is indicated for both. Sat Bhavi means for Supreme Personality of Godhead. The seeker who is searching for the Sat, Sadhu Bhavi, उनके बारे में बोला गया है. So activities done without the faith in the Supreme are simply within the realm of mode of nature and are temporary. Therefore they are useless. तो हमें जो करना है भगवान के लिए करना है, नहीं तो यूजलेस हो जाएगा. दैट इज विदिन थ्री मोड ऑफ material nature. So one in guidance of bona fide guru is eligible to transcend the modes together by taking directly to pure devotional service. One should give up his inborn conception of religion, influenced by the modes of nature, and develop faith in Shastra. So we begin with, what about those who don't have faith in the Shastra but they worship as per their mental concoction? So we are ending saying that we have to have come, if we don't in the beginning, we have to come to that level. We have to give up that conception of religion influenced by the modes of nature and develop faith in the Shastra gradually. Okay, so the absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice. Sadbhave sadhubhave cha saditi etat prayuchyate. The last word Krishna says, Sraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam krutam chayat asat iti uchyate partha na cha tat preti. No iha, तो बोल रहे हैं, anything done as a sacrifice, charity, penance without faith in the supreme ocean of truth is impermanent. So it is called asat and is useless both in this life and next. Okay, so we begin with the question that what will happen to those they are doing without faith in the supreme. Sorry, faith in the supreme, faith in the Vedic scripture, but they concoct about some worship without the basis of the scripture. What will happen to them? So Krishna is concluding that anything done as a sacrifice, charity or penance without faith in the supreme Son of Buddha is impermanent. It's called asat and useless both in this world and the next. That's why whatever we do, that should be done for a sat, as mentioned in the previous three verses. Om Tat Sat. Otherwise, they will become useless. So whatever we do, that should be in relation to Supreme Lord. With the procedure given in the Shastras. If you don't do that, that becomes useless. Okay. So we end here, 27th chapter. Okay, thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and the matter of division of faith. So any question, comment, feedback?